Utsahat nishchayat dhairyat tat-tat-karma-pravartanāt sangatyagat sato vritte shadbhir-bhaktih prasidhyati. There are 6 principles favorable for the execution of pure devotional service. Utsaha, being enthusiastic. Nishchaya, endeavoring with confidence. Dhairya, being patient. Tat-tat-karma-pravartanāt, acting according to regulative principles, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho Smaranam. Sangatyagat, abandoning the association of non-devotees. Sato vrittehe, following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. Shadbhir bhaktihi prasidhyati. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So we have studied in our previous classes Utsaha, Nishchaya and Dhairya. How many of you have become Utsahi and Nishchayi and Dhairyavan after the study? It is not just becoming, it's actually moment to moment being. Because bhakti is a process, not a product. So we are continuously being. I recently heard this emotion. It keeps you in motion, right? So bhakti is also devotional service. So service which is not only dynamic, constantly flowing, but also which is to be enacted on the basis of these guidelines. It's not just emotion. So this book is the manual or instruction guide for all sadhakas, from beginner novice level up to the Paramhamsa level. And the more diligently we study this, please try and do this in the home. Every morning, these 3 books, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, and either of Bhagavatam or CC. You put it in your mobile in its audio book form. This book being read out and recorded, audio book. And by the way, I have given it to you in soft copy, long ago and far away. The Bhakti Shastri is stagnant material that you have received, you already have it. And every day, while taking your breakfast, or as soon as you wake up, from there till you come back and take bath and put your tilak to sit down for chanting, 20-30 minutes, you just play that. It is so wonderful to just hear these instructions the first thing in the morning and then begin our day. Recently, I came across this interesting concept, and I keep coming across a lot of interesting concepts because I'm doing MAD. So educationally and culturally there is a lot to learn in life. It is called the consciousness launching system. I will ask you a first question. Have you heard of rocket launch? Rocket launch. Can you tell me, for a successful rocket launch, what are the most important considerations? What is the thing that is needed the first in rocket launch? First thing,
the design.
The design of the rocket. Well, before even the design begins, what is the first thing?
Theory.
Theory of rocket making.
Destination.
हाँ, very important. पहला गोल चाहिए ना, किधर भेजना है उसको, तभी तो बाकी सारा डिजाइन होएगा उसका. Destination is most important. Then what next? What is important consideration?
How it will be achieved, your objective.
Okay, so maybe goal plus objectives, intermediate steps, in between stations. Route. Okay, so you need a map or a route. Wonderful. Then?
We need expertise to design
No, we are just talking about rocket launch. Right now that's our focus. So first we need to have a rocket in good condition. So let's write that. Rocket in good condition.
It is already there.
Okay, let's imagine that the rocket is already there. How do you make sure that it is in good condition? Here speaks our aviation expert. There are something called as pre-launch procedures. This is the advantage of having multifarious students, that the teacher becomes very intelligent. Pre-launch procedures. अभी मुझे एग्जैक्टली नहीं मालूम वो रॉकेट में कैसे होते हैं, लेकिन एयरप्लेन में कैसे होते हैं मैं बता सकता हूँ, क्योंकि मैं एनसीसी में एयरफोर्स में था. तो when you sit in the cockpit as a pilot, there are things to be done before you start flying the airplane. One of the most important things is to start checking out each and every important, like the engine sound, the weather conditions. Then there are those flaps, they have to move them around and see whether they are working condition or not. And then there are some pre-launch procedures. So fuel hai ki nahi, andar, and all that. There is a lot of things. So these are very important part of rocket launch. So I think this is good enough for now. Let's talk about now consciousness launching system. Right from we get up in the morning till we actually step into action mode, like in a routine family or occupation or a social contribution scenario, what happens in that period
Planning.
is what decides the quality of your day. Just like, you wake up in the morning, अरे क्या रोज उठना पड़ता है. From there you start your day, Not just attitude, a lot of things. Attitude is one of them, for sure. To-do list is another thing. True, very important. The point I'm making is, from morning wake up till we actually step into the world, so to say, in a conscious way to start working, what we go through has a great impact on the entire day. And that's why Srila Prabhupada mercifully has given us 4:30 to 9:30 full morning program. So at least in Grihastha Ashrama, we recommend very strongly that between 5:30 to 8, a condensed version of this, if possible, should be daily practiced. This is a concession. This is not a standard. And in that, there are multiple things that are supposed to happen, but the actual thing begins the day before. It begins with, before you sleep, you actually keep everything ready for the next day. That is where it begins. You may say, इसमें क्या इतनी बड़ी बात है? It is a big thing. Of course, in our brahmacharya life, the experiences are very different than what you all get. Early morning, the battalion gets up. You understand battalion? And in the bathroom, there is Kumbh Mela. Naga Babas. They are all gathering around. And then what happens is that you are running for Mangal Aarti and you sometimes don't get where your dhoti is. Or sometimes, and then a lot happens in between. Why? Because somebody took it, by mistake. And then you are searching, where did my dhoti go? Because all lined up there. And morning में time किसको रहता है, नाम पढ़ते बैठो हर एक धोती का. अंदाज से यहाँ डाला था, उठाओ, भागो. So that becomes a issue sometimes. So I'm not saying about dhotis being kept ready, but also a lot of other things we can keep ready. So we have to keep ready our bead bag in place, or we have to keep ready our preparations for the breakfast, what we need to do, or what we need to keep in place, our next day's clothes that we are going to wear, or things that we need to do throughout the day. Some of those major hassles, they're already sorted out. So that when you wake up in the morning and you start doing things, your mind doesn't get irritated over stupid things. And this has a great effect in launching ourselves into the day. So that is called consciousness launching system. Dear girls, we are studying not rocket launch but consciousness launch, and we need goal. So we have 5 roles in our lives. What are they? Self-care, spiritual practice. Now the self-care refers to health, food, sleep, proper emotional care of oneself. And then comes sadhana, spiritual practice. Then there is family. Then there is occupation. And then there is service contribution to society or to Krishna. Either Krishna conscious society or just society, wherever. So there are major things to be accomplished, and we need to do some goals and objective settings the day before, if possible. Otherwise, at least in the morning, after our morning sadhana gets over, we sit back and plan the day and put things together. Do mapping, route. And then, before we launch into the day, we need to have taken our good breakfast, well rested, having read something motivational, like I read Bhagavad Gita every day, one shloka, and throughout the day munch on it. So you have to figure out something like that. And in this way, with this background preparation, you actually they call it blast off. You get into the day. You can get good results. However, what is the connection with this verse? These verses are preparatory. Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya, tat-tat-karma-pravartanät, Sangatyaga, Sato Vrittehe. These are nothing but preparatory pre-launch procedures for becoming actually engaged in devotional service meaningfully. So those things that hamper it, atyahar, prayas, prajalpa, and those things that enhance it are being taught to us. So that is the connection. Okay. So now we invite the group, if they are ready. You are the only one, fine. You are the tat-tat-karma-pravartanät. So after their presentation, you will all ask questions, and then we will see how it goes further.
Hare Krishna. Before I start with the actual tat-tat-karma-pravartanät, that particular principle from those 6 favorable principles of text 3 of NOI, I would like to just mention what all has been covered with respect to devotional service. So devotional service means that right in the beginning, Prabhupada mentions it's a practical activity. It's not a sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. It's a cultivation of spirituality. That is, it's an activity, not an idle meditation. It puts an end to all nonsensical, mundane activities and engages one in the meaningful devotional activities. Then there was big discussion and description about the 9 processes which are recommended by Sri Prahlad Maharaj, which starts with Shravanam, which is the first step in acquiring the transcendental knowledge. And that actually decides the quality of our devotional practices, the rest of them. And of course, performed with enthusiasm, confidence, patience, utsahat, nishchayat, dhairyat. These were the 3 principles which were covered earlier. It's a practical manifestation of our shraddha in devotional practices, as Bal Govind Prabhu had emphasized. Unless we have faith, we will not be performing these activities. Keeps us on our toes, not letting us become complacent in devotional life. There are so many, like as he said, 3 texts we have covered, each of them 6. So many things to work on, contemplate on, to ensure that we put in practice. So now we'll start with the actual tat-tat-karma-pravartanät purport and related things that Prabhupada has said in the book. So in the word-to-word translation which he has given for tat-tat-karma-pravartanät, he mentions performing activities which are favorable for devotional service. So we thought favorable is the word which is very important, because we ultimately want to do only those activities which will help us to go closer to Krishna, and we get attracted to performing activities related to Krishna consciousness. Also, we have seen this verse, always remembering Krishna, never forgetting Krishna. That's the ultimate level at which we want to reach. So if we want to really achieve that, we should, whenever we perform any activity, we can use this criteria. Is it really favorable? Is it going to help me in achieving this particular goal which I have set for myself, that I want to never forget Krishna and always remember Krishna? Acting according to regulative principles such as hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. That is 9 processes of bhakti. This is what he mentions in the translation. So always, already he has talked about, Prabhupada has talked about the 9 processes of bhakti, starting from Shravanam. And we all know that each of these processes, there are personalities who just by following that one process have achieved perfection in their life. So we also can at least aim to have that one of the 9 processes. Of course, that's not what is recommended. Prabhupada always mentions that we have to have everything. We should do hearing, reading, and a lot of other things also. But even if we we are able to perfect our life by following just one process. We thought like chanting could be that one process. Even if we focus on that, a lot of things can actually be achieved. And then in the purport, Srila Rupa Goswami has said one must strictly follow the regulative principles of Vaidhi Bhakti. So this tat-tat-karma-pravartanät is nothing but what is emphasized or what is available to us as part of Vaidhi Bhakti. This comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes this. So what is exactly Vaidhi Bhakti? We know there are 2 processes of bhakti. There is one Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti is the stage wherein most of us are. That's sadhaka stage, sadhana bhakti, wherein we are supposed to follow the rules and regulations as are available or revealed in the scriptures and under the guidance of our spiritual master or Shiksha and Diksha Guru. And these are then the guiding principles for us to progress in our devotional life. So Prabhupada has given 2 examples there of a child and a typewriter. Like as he said, many of us, when I talk to others also, I realize that people say that you have to get up early in the morning, chant 16 rounds. Not everything is easy. Even those who are devotees practicing for many, many years, they find it difficult. So it's like forcing ourselves into doing these activities. So it's not so natural to us, but we are, as part of regulation, we follow it. So people actually wonder, why you have to really force yourself into this? Why can't you do things which come naturally to you? So Prabhupada has these 2 examples. When I read, I got convinced why we have to really do it. So the child example he gives, that child never wants to go to school in the beginning, right? He's forced to go. And because parents know that it is good for the child and the education is required, so person doesn't become scholarly on his own, but force initially is required. So only when the child is forced to go, as he keeps going and he develops liking for some of the subjects due to any reasons. And that's how then in the later stage of his life, he would want to undergo education. He would want to willingly get into the school. So that's similar to what our stage is. So right now, maybe we are not willingly doing it. We are not very happy. We are not, finding such great bliss as it's said. But unless and until we get into this process, we do it, we come to a stage, that's something which Prabhupada and scriptures tell us, that you come to a stage wherein things become very spontaneous, that you start liking it. Another example is typewriter, similar. When you start typing, you don't know the keys, you don't know how to use your fingers, you don't know the placement of letters. So you struggle initially. But the initial struggle later on helps you that without even looking at the keyboard, you can easily type. So likewise, when we follow the rules and regulations and follow this Vaidhi Bhakti, the ultimate objective of Vaidhi Bhakti is to come to the stage of Raganuga, which is spontaneous love. So whatever we are doing today, ideally, that's what probably keeps me going. That one day will come and I'll feel spontaneous attraction for the Lord. I'll feel like going for Mangalarti, and I'll really, my consciousness will be totally absorbed while I'm in the temple, not thinking of anything else. So one day such day will come. So that's the only hope on which I'm carrying on. Likewise, these are the rules and regulations which we have to follow. Now, what are these rules and regulations? There are 4 regulative principles. Yama, that is don'ts, not to be done. That is no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling, as we know. So don't indulge into these. But as we know, Krishna consciousness is not negation. We also have to positively engage ourselves in the activities, and that is where the other part, that is strictly following the positive regulative principles, that comes in picture. That is niyama, that are do's. So if we do these do's, those which are positive engagements, then the ultimate objective for which we are doing all this, we want to have prema, we want to actually experience love for Krishna. That can be achieved. Now, what are those? There are many, actually there are 64 items, but the primary ones which are spoken are A, B, C, D, D. Should I explain these? Okay. So A is association of pure devotees. We all know how it is important. We ourselves, today I would say we have experienced it. Last 2 weeks, we didn't have this class and we were feeling miserable. Some major portion of our devotional service or practice was taken away from us. It was so bad. And that's the importance of association. Without association, it is impossible for us to carry on with the enthusiasm and with the focus, because we get a lot of inspiration and enthusiasm from the others, and it has that potency. Association is important. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj has a wonderful quote. He says that association of pure devotees is the most valuable thing in the entire creation. So much it is important. Then B stands for reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, as we know, is a literary incarnation of Lord himself. And many a times I have heard Govind Prabhu mentioning that in counseling also they have this solution wherein if there are any differences between, say, friends or even the husband-wife, then they tell that you sit together and read Bhagavatam. And that automatically resolves everything. So much is, reading Bhagavatam has been emphasized and it is potent. Then comes chanting. Chanting in 2 ways we can see. Chanting ourselves, sitting and using beads and chanting 16 rounds as has been prescribed. And the other is Harinam, Sankirtan, congregational chanting. Both is important, and we should engage ourselves in both these forms of chanting. Next is D, that is deity worship. I think almost all of I don't have deities. All of us who have deities would have experienced that it is so very engrossing and giving, it gives lot of happiness when you perform anything related to deities. I mean, deity worship involves many things. So like bathing them or dressing them or decorating them or stitching for them, cooking for them, preparing, making garlands, making jewelry. There's so many aspects of deity worship, which actually, so that purpose that we have ultimate to develop attraction and love for Krishna, it helps us to go close to Krishna. So deity worship is something which is very, very must. Also, as I have read, as we grow old, we're not really able to go out as frequently as probably we would be doing now. Then deities at home is something which is a great it's a great advantage for us to practice our bhakti. Also, that reciprocation with the Lord while you're performing all these activities, that is something, I suppose, which keeps us going. And the last is Dhamavas, visiting holy places and hearing from the pure devotees who reside or stay in Holy Dham. That is what is recommended. Holy Dham itself is purifying as we visit. And when we hear from such sadhus, saintly people who are residing, that's the best thing that we could do. And we all have experience, at least once in a year, so 100% everybody goes for yatra, as many number of times as we could go. That helps us further in strengthening our spiritual practices. And lastly, we also tried referring Bhaktyalok, but it was too much to go through and pick up from that. So what we picked up is, it mentions that those who are aspiring to perform devotional service, it's a must that act according to the regulative principles, perform activities by which pure devotional service is cultivated. And then there are those 64 items of bhakti which are mentioned. It starts with an original instruction which comes in Bhagavatam, 11th canto, where Lord Krishna himself has instructed Lord Uddhava about these 64 items. Not exactly 64 items, but these are the instructions of what is bhakti and how you can attain me, how you can get attracted to me. Based on that, Srila Rupa Goswami has in Bhakti Rasamrut Sindhu given us those 64 items, and also in Chaitanya Charitamrut similar things, similar activities are mentioned. The items which will help us to, as we practice, to go closer to Krishna. So why do we do these activities, the devotional service or activities that we perform? What is the benefit? As Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport, the neglect will destroy devotional service. It's in the negation that I have written it, though we call it title as benefit. So if you neglect the practice of any of these activities, which are both do's and don'ts, then you're surely going to destroy your spiritual life. That's what Prabhupada has mentioned. And mainly, as we understood it, it could be due to the offenses that we commit. For example, if we neglect proper chanting, or if we neglect following the basic rules and regulations itself, like not taking the association, not really, trying to go and attend classes, or not ensuring that you read at least something during the day or hear. Neglection of this would cause, we ourselves, I suppose I have personally experienced it many a times, when we don't do these activities throughout the day, our consciousness is just horrible. That otherwise that peace and tranquility that I experience when I'm doing the activities as per prescription, that no more is there. You lose all that. So consciousness really degrades. Similarly, he has mentioned that if one becomes slack, you're doing chanting 16 rounds, but you're not really up to the mark in terms of quality, then also the progress will be checked. You won't find, progressing in your spiritual life. Additionally, Vaidhi Bhakti helps to bring out our original love for God. It takes us to the higher level, that is Raganuga Bhakti. One becomes eligible to receive mercy in terms of facilities, guidance, inspiration. I suppose this also is something which I have experienced myself, and many of us will agree. Moment we follow the rules and regulations, one thing is, I'm sure the Lord gets pleased. Our spiritual master, our Diksha, Shiksha gurus, they get pleased, and somehow that mercy comes through them to us. And also it comes through, of course, various other agencies. But then that gives us these facilities and guidance and inspiration, which helps us again further to progress on spiritual path. Regulations help us become effective and efficient. We thought effective in terms of quality of the service that we do, and efficient in terms of quantity, what all really we can achieve during the day. And this is not only applicable in our spiritual life, but also in the material life. We need regulations to be more effective, and we call it productive over there. And yeah, the last thing we felt that this principle particularly is like a foundational principle. When we say utsahat, nishchayat, dhairya, these are supportive. But tat-tat-karma-pravartanät, practicing devotional service which is favorable for our Krishna consciousness is the basis. If we don't do that as per the regulations, then nothing really can help us. Even if you are determined, and even if you have confidence and whatever, that would not really get channelized properly if this basic principle is not followed. And then comes, how do we do it? The process. Be enthusiastic, faithful, strict in adhering to regulative principles. Devotional service is acquired from Vedic knowledge by hearing from bona fide spiritual master. So Govind Prabhu, I remember he had told us long time back, we need to hear and we need to read also on a daily basis. So for hearing, he had given us 3 categories, even for reading, that we need to focus on these 3 aspects. That is, Siddhanta is something which is philosophy that we have to be strong with, which we hear from Srila Prabhupada's lectures or read from his books. And then there are inspirational hearing or reading which we need to do, which would be from our own spiritual master. Hearing him is important. And he had also given us the percentage, how much. So maximum is for our own spiritual master. We need to focus more on hearing his Vani. And then the third is need-based. So in case we want to develop any particular skill or some difficulties in our life and we need that additional hearing or reading, then that comes as additional category. So if we can ensure and have this kind of bifurcation, and ensuring that we hear and read Srila Prabhupada and also hear our spiritual master, then I suppose that's the best way of ensuring that we remain regulated. I mean, they keep us regulated. Don't deviate or dilute the instructions of Shiksha and Diksha gurus. Visit temple frequently. Those 64 items that were talked about, most of them, we thought it's 25, I think. I don't know exactly how many. 42, Krishna. Okay. They are covered automatically just by being in temple. Morning program is 25, maybe? No, 42. Krishna. So we don't have to do anything otherwise. Just attend morning program and that's it. So we automatically 42 are covered. And as we all know, it's like charging our spiritual life, which will help us to face the outer world when we go out for our occupational duties. And yeah, now it's not just the devotion and related activities that we need to emphasize. Striking balance is equally important. And hence that formula, the devotion in the morning, work in the afternoon, and family life in the evening is something which we all can follow. At the end of the purport, Prabhupada has mentioned this line. He says that this is called tat-tat-karma-pravartanät, or varied engagement in devotional service. So that kind of gave us a clue that what he's trying to say is maybe that it's not just these 64 items, but whatever we are doing in our life, whatever skills, whatever abilities that we have, whatever professionally we have learned, we all of that can be actually utilized in Krishna's service. And then there is nothing that remains in our life which we cannot really, consider is not for Krishna or in his service. Like so many examples which we can give. There are many of us who have come from a technical background, and we know in ISKCON, there's so much of use of technology is there today. So that skill that we have developed over a period of time, we could utilize that. Then there is art, there is music, there is drama, everything, all aspects of our life. Even somebody who is a teacher, there's a teaching profession can become a good preacher. Or somebody who is good in sales and marketing, there's so much of opportunity here also, book distribution and maybe making life members or whatever. There are hundreds of opportunities there. So doubting everything that we have in terms of skills, talents, in performing devotional service. That's the way we could achieve this. And the most important of all, we felt, is become sincere chanter. Recently, we had Burijan Prabhu giving a seminar, and at least for a few days now, because it will be fresh in our mind, we will be able to chant more sincerely. But and Prabhupada has also said, 99% of our progress depends how we chant. And as a basic thing, Balgam Prabhu has given us this triple P formula, the posture and pronunciation and prayerful mood. So at least with these basic things and that, one thing that Burijan Prabhu keeps on telling, even if you hear just one mantra, and it's a great achievement. So you're blessed. So that is really, very hope-giving aspect. Yeah, pastimes. For pastimes or overall? Krishna. Then I'll skip. I think pastimes everybody knows about Prabhupada. How he never wanted to compromise on four regulative principles and his chanting. He has said that I have come here not to learn from Americans, but to teach Americans. So that was his stand. He was never ready to compromise. Also, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's daily schedule that we had studied. So that is another good example, a role model for Grahasthas, as was told at that time, we could follow to ensure that we remain regulated. Then 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, and then there are these verses. Can we see them or skip?
We'll send them on email.
And then these are quotes. And I think I'll go directly to the personal application, few minutes on that. So there are these, based on the experiences of each one of us, we actually identified these. There are many. So in the name of maintaining relations, we end up diluting and deviating from 4 regulative principles. So I won't give explanation, I'll just go to the solution. So be cautious, take guidance from the superiors to know how to avoid such situations and consider the alternatives. It was a wonderful experience, the real experience which Anupam Gopika Mataji had shared with this. I'll share that. That was very inspiring. They had gone once for a marriage of their close relative. And typically during such times, in past also, whenever they have gone, they face this difficulty. They can't eat that food. And then everybody else notices that, and they point fingers, and it's an embarrassing situation. So this time Prabhuji decided that he from here only when he went with all, he was well equipped. He carried vessels and I think people, devotees also, who could help him cook. And he himself, he cooked for whatever number of people who had come there in huge quantity without kanda lasun, onion garlic, and he served all of them. I mean, it happened without knowledge of all others. And then when all others saw them sitting and eating, the same prasad which the others were eating, they were surprised. They were saying, how come you're eating this time? And they were laughing and smiling. And I think they shared it later. But that was one solution that he found out. And he was very happy. Yeah, cooked himself. So there was a lot of effort that he put himself in that. Being devotee is likely to get distracted from our purpose while acquiring gadgets, facilities. When we get mobiles and internet access, we don't want to actually indulge into the non-devotional aspect, but still we get dragged that side. So regularizing the usage could be the solution. Unable to overcome weakness like getting up early, no taste for hearing or reading, avoiding services which we don't like, or selective hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam class. So many such weaknesses that we have. We know they are weaknesses, but it's difficult to overcome them. So one thing which Bhagavan Prabhu had discussed once, we thought we could try and apply. I tried doing myself, though I have miserably failed to doing that. Every time I start my counter, when I'm not able to follow, I start next day. I'm going to start from today. My 40 days start from today. Likewise, I keep doing. So practice Chalisa is what he had said. So 40 days, if you continue doing that activity. Say, for example, you want to get up early in the morning. You're not able to. So if you decide that for next 40 days, every single day I'll get up at whatever time you decide. The moment we do that, what I have found is then the rest, everything throughout the day, we ensure that we will be able to achieve that the next day. And then everything else falls in place automatically. So this one thing, if we take care, it takes care of rest of other things, is something which I have experienced. This is not what he had said. What he had said was that if you follow it, it becomes your next, it's like your nature. Yeah, and becomes your habit that you can't then not do it. So to that extent is the effect of following this. So we felt that could be one solution. Another could be making alliance. I'm doing that in my building. We have 3 or 4 of us who want to go for Mangal Aarti. So we tell each other, you call me, which means that I have to call, which means I have to get up. And the person whom I'm calling, that she also has to get up thinking that, oh, itna usne, she has called me, so at least I have to go. So both of us, we end up going. So likewise, we can make alliances and in many areas and try and overcome this weakness. And then lastly, chalta hai attitude of grahasthas. This was from Raglekha Mataji. She was saying we become very casual in our devotional life. So some of the solutions we thought is we can talk to our mind. We can tell that this is not the way I would like it to be. Keep on stressing that point. Then establish accountability. Between maybe husband and wife, you can become accountable to each other. Or if you have a friend, whom you report and tell how many times in a week you failed or whatever. You couldn't follow what you had decided to follow. Another thing which Bhagavan Prabhu had told us was setting the performance parameters for us, like a sadhana card that is available for brahmacharis and of course to be followed for grahasthas. But we can have our own personal performance parameters which we can set and keep revising. Can see if I've decided that I'll at least attend 4 times Mangal Aarti, or then whether I'm following that, and keep revising why I'm not doing it. And then what is the reason, how I can improve. Or similarly, reading, hearing, any and everything that we want to do as a spiritual practice. So that was a personal application. Thank you.
Well researched, well presented, very practical. And we can sense how much they must have gone through the rigors of the churning in their own discussions, what to exactly present. So we thank them for a very apt presentation on this topic. I would just briefly discuss that one point of what do you mean by setting performance parameters for oneself in bhakti. So you all are corporate or business knowing people. So you know there is a criteria based on which you judge your success, for which you set a performance parameter. And then all that you do after that is to keep a tab or a check on whether you achieved it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday or Sunday. Let's say though your criteria is chanting and the performance criteria is completing 16 rounds. Let's make it simpler. Completing 12 rounds before 9 a.m. and 4 rounds before 9 p.m. Possible. Okay, so Monday you did it, Tuesday you did it, Wednesday, Thursday didn't happen, Friday didn't happen. No. So you know yourself where it is going. I'll not go into too many criterias. I'll keep only 3 or 4 of them which are very easy to monitor, but they make a big deal. Second one is slept at. So very simple criteria. Let's say you decide your performance parameter, 10 p.m. is my dead time. If you just take care of that one item, 10 p.m. or you decide whatever you choose, then on the basis of that you check what is happening. And of course, wake up. Very important. After sleeping on time. And let's say you decide that at 5 a.m. or whatever. Every day I'll get up at 5 a.m. So then accordingly that goes. Wake up at 5 a.m. except Sunday. You agree that I'm a merciful teacher? So I'm just joking. Sunday is for morning program in the temple. You choose another day to get up late, no problem. So that is another simple thing to be talked about. And then reading or hearing in the day that I did. So you put simple parameter 20 minutes per day. And 4 hours per week. अगर 20 minutes per day नहीं हुआ तो कम से कम उतना तो करना है. 4 घंटा करना है week में. Is this something possible? Yeah. So, and I said reading or hearing. I'm not saying reading separate, hearing. कुछ नहीं. एक कुछ तो करो उसमें से. Yes. Give instructions that meet zero resistance. So, this is baseline. ये standard नहीं है हमारा. ये standard चालू करने के लिए तैयारी है. So please keep this in mind. And if you still want to monitor something else, then you write this last item that is called seva that I did in the day. So seva we generally do for deities, devotees and society around. So you decide. Every day I do some seva. I do for the deities. But you want to monitor that or not, that I leave up to you. It's not right now on my. So you have this Habit app on your mobile. Habit. So they give you 3 or 4 criteria का free facility to monitor, free of cost. So you can put this and keep monitoring your sadhana. You know? No pay. Handy sadhana card. Daily can put a reminder also. Fill me up. And anyways, we handle our mobile too much. So mobile handles us too much. So I hope this makes sense. tat-tat-karma-pravartanät on a very practical level. Huh? Yeah, but that's little complicated. I have seen it. I have it also. I'm telling that devotee to design one for a like general normal grihasthas, you know, who they can feel inspired to fill up. The one that he has designed is very, very meticulous. It's very nice. I agree. I appreciate that. But I would begin somewhere here. Questions?
Seva, there are three deities.
Deities, devotees, and society around. Of course, you can add a lot of other services also. It's not just this. But that we need to monitor sometimes, because otherwise we just lead a selfish life. You know, eating, sleeping, meeting and defending. That's what management people generally do. Any other questions about tat-tat-karma-pravartanät?
So many years in Bhakti, we know what is to be done, what is not to be done. But, there was a phase when we used to feel, especially me, I would feel guilty if I'm doing something which is not to be done. Association,
Yeah.
movies. But there's a phase also that we don't feel bad. Okay, they are not a big deal. It's like that. So how do we deal with that day? Particular 6 days our sadhana goes through. Sunday we for also half the day we've done. Evening we think, okay, we deserve something material pleasure. Many a times, personally. So how do I deal with that? Because sometimes we feel guilty and then we don't.
So there are two components to this question. The earlier guilt and grief we would feel in our heart gradually wanes away. That's one part of the question. Guilt that I have broken the instruction of the Lord or the spiritual master, and grief that I have broken their heart by not following what they have asked me to do. So earlier we used to feel it very strongly, and then gradually we start thinking it's okay. They will understand.
It is also that you're doing your duty.
Yeah, so that is the second part of the story. That while doing routine devotional activities or even normal occupation, varnashram activities, we do well, but at times we, we need a break, as we say. I need a break. Engine गर्म हो जाता है मेरा. थोड़ा उसको cool करने के लिए coolant डालना पड़ता है. So there is where the whole thing comes in, that we sometimes indulge in some not so Krishna conscious and sometimes sinful activities. So what to do? I would say what I do rather than just giving a theoretical answer. One thing I really do is to do a journal writing where I honestly write about myself. The 3 basic questions: what did go well, what didn't go so well, what am I going to do about it tomorrow, how will I do it different? So there are many things that I write. I write realizations, I write gratitudes, I write regrets, I write other devotees' qualities and contributions that I observed. I write personal prayers, I write reports to Guru, spiritual master. There are 100 things to write. There is a lot of time that you can spend doing a lot of quality work with yourself. So that's one part, and that is what usually, because Manish Prabhu wanted me to sing Tukaram, so I think Krishna has arranged for an occasion. You have seen Tukaram Maharaj used to go and sit on that Bhandara mountain, and every day he would do Leela Smaran and self-introspection and setting right his own internal attitudes and behaviors, in Bhakti Yoga. Vrikshavalliyam soyari vanachare pakshihi susvare alaveti. So he used to go and sit in nice scenic places. Birds are chirping, other deers and forest animals are roaming freely about. He is feeling kinship with them, that we are all part of one family of the Supreme Lord. Yene sukhe ghade ekantacha vasa nahi guna dosha angayeta. In this condition of seclusion, I am able to connect to myself. And by doing self-introspection, I can take out impurities, throw them away, and instill goodness in my heart. Daily. Some moments of meditative, prayerful contemplation. Where did I reach? येणे सुखे घडे एकांताचा वास नाही गुणदोष अंगायत. आकाश मंडप पृथ्वी आसन रमे तेथे मन क्रीडा करी. The sky is my canopy, earth is my sitting place, and in the vast expanse of this material creation, my mind delights in contemplating spiritual truths. So here is the clue, how to enhance your contemplation in such moments. You should have your own treasure bank of valuable instructions that you hear. I usually divide the instructions that I receive in 3 categories: self-development related, loving relationships related, and service contribution related. And then there are some condensed sutras or beautiful pearls of wisdom that devotees give us, which I store very nicely. And occasionally, depending on what is going on in my heart, I revisit those treasure houses of instructions or contemplations. You are with me?
Yes, please.
So this is Rame Tethe Mana Krida Kari. My mind simply delights in this. Simply contemplating on truth, you will find yourself become liberated from that clutter. You know, that is so haunting on you sometimes. कोई बोलेगा अरे खाते पीते क्या तुम लोग, आकाश मंडप पृथ्वी आसन खाने का क्या है? हरि कथा भोजन पर्वणि विस्तार करुणी प्रकार रुचि सेवु. So he says, my Hari Katha is my bhojan. So there are 12 rasas, Shantidasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, and then there are 7 secondary rasas. I make varieties of preparations out of them. Hari Katha Bhojana. Parvani Vistara means elaborate feast. Like most of these Matajis here, they are exceptional cooks. So they know what it means, Parvani Vistara. Full scale feast I make out of that. And Karuni Prakara, I make various Vyanjanas, items out of them, Ruchi Sevu. And then I taste them while in my seclusion. Tu kamhane hoya manashi samvada apulachi vada apanasi. So he says at that time, manashi samvada, I can really talk to myself and set right. At the same time, apulachi vada apanasi, you actually take your own case in hand. At times little hard. And thrash yourself. कि बाल गोविंद मूर्खा नाम शिरोमणि, कहाँ जा रहा है तेरा गाड़ी? So you do that. So this is very important for us in spiritual life, because we hear so much, we have I don't know what all facilities and inspiring events that we go through, but we are like that पालत्या घड़े और पानी, उसको क्या बोलते हैं, उल्टे घड़े पे पानी डालने का जैसा होता है वो. तो घड़े को उल्टा करने के लिए थोड़ा प्रयास लगता है, पानी ज़्यादा चाहिए अंदर. So this is one thing we can do for avoiding this. And the second very important aspect of spiritual life, we cannot control our mind and senses or our own strength. We should learn it The first lesson in spiritual life. वो हमारे capacity के बाहर है. दैवी हेशा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया. You know, or Krishna is saying that it's impossible just by our own strength to conquer our mind and senses. Now, how do we conquer them? Usually they are conquered in relationship with a Vaishnava to whom we are submissively and lovingly follow. Out of affection we do what he asks us to do. So recently we had gone to meet Bhurijan Dhruv. It was a teachers meet, and there he asked me a question. Suddenly he asked me a question. I had asked him a question, what should a teacher do for his ongoing development of himself? And in return he had asked me a question, what inspires you the most in your life? I thought for a while. I said, association of a loving superior who is unconditional in his compassion and facilitation of my Krishna consciousness. Association of a loving superior who is unconditional in his compassion towards me and in his facilitation of my Krishna consciousness. This is what inspires me the most in my life. And then Prabhuji paused for a while. He said, I think that is a very grave thought. And I'll think over it for a while. And then he paused, he said like that. His thought. And then he says, yes, this is what is the secret of developing self-control or loving relationships or service contribution in life. So the point I'm making is, each of us should find such inspirations, in our like teachers, counselors, and make sure that things don't go unaddressed for a long time, because then that becomes a habit. और चलता है attitude नहीं चलेगा, so that we have to get into.
Probably I have two similar questions. We put all this in.
Yes.
But it could be an environment as well, because all these are they're colorful activities. We are reading Katha, it is Krishna Katha, it has got all the flavors. We read even Tattva, that is
Yes.
also invigorating.
We all have some taste we are getting, otherwise we will not be sitting here.
Yes.
So
The second part is that once we keep some criteria for ourselves and do it for a regular period of time, and we feel that we are able to accomplish it, and it's not all crosses anymore. At this time, do we step up?
yeah, the performance parameter will change, no?
No, this stepping up, is it
Quantitative or qualitative?
yeah, both of course, but what I meant is, should it be a spontaneous drive or should it be due to peer pressure? He has been in, say, Bhakti for 3 years, he has not read Bhagavad completely. So now I will, is it that way, or I really figure out how to increase my interest for reading? How do I know that I'm growing in Bhakti and I'm not always subjecting myself to pressure just to maintain these channels?
In educational psychology, there is a model of moral development, how it takes place in an individual. In the beginning, it usually takes place because of a superior's pressure, like children. What is morality? बोले मम्मी ने बोला करने का करना पड़ता है. That is the level of morality, in life. Then as they grow a little more, then it goes to the peers, the peer pressure. Then whatever they are saying is moral. Whatever they are not approving, that is immoral. So that's the stage that comes. And then eventually it comes to a self-assessed, what you call, understanding and application of what is valuable to me, which I will follow no matter what. So we'll all go through that stages. So let us know where I am now at. I need, I think, superior pressure right now to keep me on toes. So other times it is, अरे वो लोग इतना कर रहे हैं मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, and it's a good one. Even if it is an imitation, Prabhupada says imitation of a good thing is good one. If you see another devotee doing nicely, you want to do, that's nice. But eventually we will come to this stage where we will assess with our own experiences that we have had, realizations we have developed, ki these things I will do them. Whether people are watching me or not, I will do them. So that is how it is. Just one point I want to add to that earlier question. Sometimes we should give ourselves a break. And that break need not be necessarily like a sinful activity and going and doing something dubious. We have to figure out there are activities or personalities or forums or where we really freak out in Krishna consciousness. You understand freaking out? Yeah. So we should find that out and make sure that periodically we have an access to those situations. Honestly, I'll tell you, when I really get fed up, what I do, I go in a room, lock myself up, and loudly play Ayendra Prabhu's Kirtan and dance. That's what I do. Other times, if I really get fed up, I go and read loudly Leelamrut in front of Prabhupada. Or like, you find it out. What is your freak out thing? Or I switch on in full blown volume, Taittiriya Upanishad, because that is all about education. And it is the intoxicating sound for me to hear that. And everything in the material world it becomes irrelevant after that. So we have to find out what freaks me out in Krishna consciousness. Another thing that really freaks me out is there are devotees, they are so amazing. You just go and associate with them for a few moments. You get exhilarated in spiritual life. So you have to find those people out amongst your peers or superiors and take their association. So you arrange for those things periodically so that the jiva's urge to be spontaneous and creative and non-routine oriented is fulfilled.
We can have a feeling of feel good factor. Like we are trying our level best, whatever levels we are at.
Yes.
But Krishna says, if you don't achieve me, then you get either in the Brahman.
Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe.
There.
Yeah.
So again you are getting a chance, but you are trying your level. Something has happened.
Amazing.
There something has happened. You can't.
Wonderful. Be positive in life. मैं तो और भी चीज़ बोलता हूँ कि मेरे को ऐसा कभी कभी लगता है कि जो मुझे ऑलरेडी मिल रहा है वो भी मेरे औकात से बहुत ज़्यादा है. So to say, I never had a desire to be a spiritualist. I never was intending to, there are so many things that are happening, वो आसमान से गिरे खजूर में अटके, ऐसा वो भक्ति में आ गए हम लोग. And it's wonderful. So right now also, this amount of service I'm getting to do, the chanting I'm daily performing, the quantity of prasad I'm consuming, whatever it is already beyond what I deserve. मतलब वो छप्पर फोड़ के हो गया ऑलरेडी बाहर उसके. तो अभी रोना क्या है? किसके लिए रो रहे हैं हम लोग? मतलब 1000 लाइफ टाइम में भी खुद का एंडेवर डाल के जो नहीं मिलता था वो फूकट मिल रहा है. कुछ किए भी था, उसका इच्छा भी नहीं किए भी था. So why are you so miserable? क्यों मुंह लटका के बैठना है? So that's what I also feel personally. Yes.
I wanted to know how do you reach towards Raganuga Bhakti? Because see, there are so many anarthas within us. And while you might have your determination to move on that path, first and foremost you're struggling. And then there are your family members who might get offended because of neglect, because you are, focused more on this than on the other activities, which you think, are not so important in life, because tomorrow or today will be another thing. You like to give more time to this. So how to deal with this constant struggle?
Consult and balance. These are two golden words for a struggling sadhaka. So consult. If there is dharma sankat which you are not able to resolve, you need help, just go to a superior person having better consciousness than you. And balance. Our bhakti is not just chanting. And bhakti is not just, कल मृत्यु आ सकता है. Bhakti is a lot. We saw that the 5 items that we had written, each of them are actually integrated as a complete picture of our offering of bhakti to Krishna. Whether it is self care, अगर खुद का हेल्थ ठीक नहीं है, नींद अच्छे से नहीं हुआ है, इमोशंस सारे फ्यूज उड़े हुए, तो हम क्या चपा करेंगे, हम क्या फैमिली चलाएंगे, क्या ऑक्यूपेशन करेंगे. So each item is important. So we have to always look at the bigger picture and keep balancing. And we have discussed this. Balance is always a dynamic process, not a static process of two things put on the same scale with the same weight. Dynamic in the sense the way an ice skating person balances himself going through the crests and troughs. So we have to keep that in mind while going through the life. तो कभी इधर झुकना है, कभी उधर झुकना है, कभी स्पीड कम करना है, कभी ज़्यादा करना है. Two things have to happen. Keep going towards the goal and don't topple. गिरना नहीं है, no fall down. And that is, it's a sport, Krishna consciousness. So you have to feel it. कि wow, this is रोज का ये. सुबह उठ के चालू रहता है वो लोग. You know? Yeah.
Never ending.
Never ending.
You never finish game actually.
You say hang on.
Never.
You say hang on.
Yeah, hang on. Hang on, hang out with devotees. Hang in there for a while. And so,
What is this raga and rag thing?
just one additional. How do you go from Vaidhi to Raganuga? Only 2 ways. While performing Vaidhi Bhakti, we have to hanker for it. That I want to develop Raganuga. And secondly, it is usually that our attempts at Vaidhi Bhakti please the devotees around. That's why we sang that song, that Kanishta Madhyam Uttam Vaishnavas that are around us, they are observing कि ये इतना गया गुजरा है लेकिन अच्छा स्ट्रगल मारता है. बहुत सिंसियरिटी बहुत है अंदर. So that is what pleases them. And I have seen this in a management meeting sometimes. There is a devotee who has given a lot of trouble and he wants his things his way and this and that. But then there are still those Vaishnavas, they say, नहीं पर प्रो जी उसका ये बहुत अच्छा है. क्यों बहुत साधना बहुत सिंसियरली करता है, डेटी वर्शिप कभी छोड़ता नहीं है. Whatever, those things. So although there may be disqualifications, the Vaishnavas also observe these things. And that feeling of well-wishing towards us is what pushes us up in our spiritual life. Thank you. So we end there, and I would resolve any of your questions further in person. And I just want to ask you one last question before I end. Why we need to follow and not neglect regulative principles? Because why? She has just written, neglect will destroy. It's like a...
Yes.
So why should we not neglect?
Why should we?
Not neglect following regulative principles.
Already we are not very pakka in what we are doing. So if we start neglecting what we are doing, so there is no chance of growing it.
Yes, true.
We start deviating from without even realizing.
Small deviations will lead to big deviations later on.
Because actually 4 regulative principles are based on dharma. So if we don't protect our dharma will not be able to protect.
Very nice.
I was hearing a small clip of Rajasan Prabhu. He was saying, that how we cook our food in gas cooking system. So there is a regulator. So if you don't regulate, you blow your home. That is what he was saying. So if you don't regulate, you blow your bhakti and everything. So that I think regulations are required.
Wow, solid.
So small clip or 1 minute clip. The kite is on.
Achha, the kite, because it is tied, it soars up. Yes.
Sometimes we might not understand why we should follow regulative principles, but those are given by acharyas based on their realization, understanding,
Yeah.
higher understanding.
Just like a doctor tells a patient कि पथ्य, तो हम बोले क्या तुम फॉलो कर देगा खुद, अरे भैया your condition, if you do this, you'll worsen your situation. So we have to have that trust inherently. Another simple example is this pot and the milk example. So bhakti is like the milk, the substance. But these regulative principles, the following of dharma is like the pot that sustains it. Generally what happens, we tend to think I have substance. Oh, substance kabka khayal rakh dega. That kind of attitude. But unless you have the pot in place, you cannot carry your bhakti for long. So these 4 regulative principles, although they look very, of course any genuine Indian family can follow them. ऐसा कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. वो बाहर के दुनिया के लोगों के मीडिया के द्वारा आने वाले repeated bombardment of enticing, whatever, propaganda के कारण हम फॉलो नहीं कर पा रहे. लेकिन inherently if you ask any Indian, 4 regulative principles, no much problem. So yeah, austerity is sense gratification, tapasya. So we have to feel that losing purity is too much a cost to give. So they also quickly bring us to mode of goodness, and practicing Krishna consciousness thus becomes very easy when we follow them. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Upadeshamrita ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hare Hare.